I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Grace, Grit, and Grounds. This is an extra episode that we're filming in the middle of the week, and it's going to be what I like to call an espresso shot.
Mhm.
I'm trying to go with the coffee theme
Yeah.
because I like coffee. So, in light of that, since we're talking about grace, grit, because I like grit, and then grounds, because I
Mhm.
enjoy coffee and I enjoy my theology very grounded.
Yeah.
So, if you have a cup of coffee, have a seat, let's have a conversation. So with me this morning is Desiree Houben. She is the newest member of the staff
Yeah.
at Christ Baptist Church, where we both now serve. And Desiree is coming on board as our we gave her a title that is so long that I don't even fully remember what the titles are. So what's your title again?
Director of Family and Community Outreach.
There we go. That's a pretty
Yeah.
big title. So what does it do? What does it mean?
Well, depending on who I'm talking to, I'll completely change my title to either youth minister, kids minister, family minister, and I just kind of give them whatever title at
Yeah.
the time that applies. But basically, it allows me to have the flexibility to take on the children, the youth, the students' age, and take care of our families. It gives me a very broad range of things that are required of me so that I can make a lot of things happen in order to further what we're doing in the community and what we're doing in our church and really
Yeah.
just make sure that everyone's being taken care of
Right.
somehow.
Like the
Yeah.
idea of the family director of outreach. I like the idea of family
Yeah.
because, obviously a church, I believe, is a family,
Hmm.
and we're always trying to adopt new members of our family and
Yeah.
and reach out to them. When I was a youth pastor, one of the things that an old mentor of mine at the time, this is back in
I wasn't
1996.
alive yet.
Okay, so before you were born, I was working with youth, um, and he gave it to me once. My mentor, and he said to me, he says, "When you're looking at youth ministry,
Hmm.
it's a good portion of it's working with kids, right? I mean,
Hmm.
you're face to face with kids, you're doing a lot of FaceTime with kids, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, the real ministry is between you and the parents of the kids. Like if you
Hmm.
don't have a good relationship with the parents and you're not connected to their family, then you're not going to effectively be able to minister to them long term. Granted, this was back in the middle 90s, and now we're in, 2025,
Hmm.
and the family has shifted so unbelievably much. Now, your last role, you worked at the Salvation Army doing
Hmm.
relatively the same thing. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Salvation Army in our area, which is located, is it in Covington?
It's in Covington.
Yeah, so Covington, for those of us that are watching this a million miles away, Covington is not the nicest section of northern Kentucky. It's got some beautiful architecture. It's got a rich history. It's a beautiful place. I love going through there. Some of the best food restaurants that I enjoy eating at are in that area,
Oh yeah.
especially on
Yeah.
Monmouth Street. Is that in Covington or
Yeah.
is that? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
No, no, Monmouth is Newport.
Okay.
Madison
Madison, yeah.
Avenue.
So, I mean, I've had several restaurants. I've
Mhm.
gone over there. So I enjoy the area very much. And unfortunately, it's an area that has declined in their overall just prosperity,
Yeah.
and so you get a lot of broken families there, and the one thing I've noticed in the years, like, recently I got, picked up a special education degree
Mhm.
so I could work with kids that in our schools that were from these broken homes dealing with emotions and behavior issues, and I have seen a rise of this over the last 25 years in ministry. So tell me, what was it like ministering to the families over there? Because they
Mhm.
didn't have, for the most part, that traditional nuclear support, mom, dad,
Yeah.
what was it like?
Yeah, it was interesting. There were many kids that I never even met their parents. The kids would just show up. They would
Yeah,
just be at the building, and we'd love on them, we'd feed them, and then we'd send them off into the unknown, and they would make it home,
yeah.
I guess, and so it was really odd coming from teaching
Mm,
and the parent present being so strong, and honestly, the most challenging part of teaching is dealing with the parent, to
mm,
going from that to this very relaxed environment was really interesting
yeah.
because it's kind of like a weight off of like, okay, I can just love on your
Right,
kids
right.
without this like pressure from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
parent and the expectation that is had in a classroom setting of
yeah.
my kid needs to do this, this, and this. Whereas in church, you just want what's best for your
Sure.
kid. You just want your kid in a safe
Right,
place.
right.
And so, I mean, that's kind of where that shift of me coming from teaching to ministry came from a lot of is removing a little bit of the pressure and having more of a relationship of we just want your kids to know and love
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah,
And so it was interesting though to just have the one-sided relationship of
yeah.
I'm loving on your kids. I've never met you before, but your
Mhm.
kids are pretty cool. And
Yeah,
then randomly they would show up at an event and I'd be
yeah,
like, "Hi, I've been telling your kids about Jesus for the past year. Nice
yeah,
to meet you." And so it's interesting. And when those parents do show up, there's definitely a level of gratitude from them
yeah.
that they're grateful that they know that their kid is somewhere that's safe and that they're protected and that they're taken care
Right,
of and they're not wandering around on the
right,
streets of
right.
Covington. And so whenever I did get a chance to interact with those parents, they were grateful
Mm.
that someone was taking care of their kid.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So, those of you that are, again, not just watching and you're still getting to know who we are and what this channel's about, I'm definitely missionally minded when it comes to my pastoring.
mm,
And from very almost the first year I was here, we have done a mission trip every year.
mhm,
And our very first mission trip we ever did was to Alaska, the area that I left. And
mhm.
I took Desiree
Yep.
and Joe, your husband.
Yep.
This is before you had the baby,
Yes.
right? And we had a friend there that you met, you spent a lot of time with. His name is Eric. Remember Eric?
Mhm.
So Eric is a native Alaskan. When I say native, I mean full native. He was part of the tribe
Yeah.
that was local. He was married to an amazing woman, Christina. They had three amazing children,
Mhm.
and they had geese, chickens,
Massive
dogs,
dogs. Their
massive,
dogs are
yeah,
huge.
massive dogs. They had pigs. Did they have pigs where you were there?
I don't remember. I
Um,
just remember Joe was very thrown off that the geese were inside on the
Yes.
couch.
Yeah, the geese were pets, they
They're
weren't food.
pets.
So, yeah, the geese would just come in and out
I
like
loved
a
it.
cat. It was just
Yeah.
funny. Like, she had a Christina had a chicken, I don't know if she still does, that would oftentimes lay eggs in random places around the house.
Yes, they told us about that and
Yes.
about how sometimes they did not find the eggs.
It
They
is.
would smell them.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was just a fun thing. So, Eric, I ministered to Eric from almost the time I got to Alaska till the
Mhm.
time I left, so about, 8 years, and, very, very just amazing man. I got to see him grow to the point where the year I left, or a
Mhm.
year before I left, we had, brought him on and ordained him as a deacon, and to see the growth spiritually from the man that I met
Yeah.
to the deacon that I left in charge of the church that I cared deeply for, and
Mhm.
then he opened his home to us, and we came back from the mission trip there,
Yeah.
and he told some stories because he grew up in a broken home.
Mhm.
He really didn't even know who his father was until a couple 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and he was telling me that the church for him was the safe place,
Mhm.
and he would share stories about he would leave school. Now, if you knew Eric, you know
Mhm.
the man is like what, like 20 feet tall. He's
He's
like
he
huge. He is. He's like
Yeah.
over 6.5 feet tall. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
big, massive guy. But he told me when he was growing up, he was small. He was just tiny,
Yeah.
and he would leave school and run as fast as he could from the door. He'd try to get out of the door first because there were kids that wanted to hurt him, and he would run to the church as the safe place,
Yeah.
and his youth pastor was almost always there
Mhm.
after, and they would open the door, and he would spend until his mother got off work, he would spend the time after school till mom got home
Yep.
in the church building.
Mhm.
And I wonder, since I didn't have that experience as a youth pastor, most of my
Mhm.
kids were nuclear family kids. I had a
Mhm.
couple that weren't. I mean, I've got a couple I could share about later, but I wonder what it was like to minister to that in that kind of environment. I
It's
don't
really cool.
understand it, but I know
Yeah.
it's needed, desperately needed.
It is. It is. It's really cool. I hadn't really done much with youth
Mm,
until, like, this last time at the Salvation Army. It was the first time I had ever really done youth as part of my job. I was
right.
always little kids, and, the first year of youth, I had, like, an older brother and another brother that were 6th graders at the time, and a couple of girls, and that was about it, and then the next year, I got, like, the younger brother out of it's, like, 3 brothers and, like, 3 sisters, and I got the younger brother, so we still didn't get 1, and then we still had 1 less sister left, but before I left, but I had this squad of 4 of them that were
Mm,
consistently there. I still have a group text with them.
yeah.
They text Joe and I random updates all the time. It's great, but most days, I would be at the Salvation Army by the time they got off school, and the boys lived across the street. Especially once we had this group text, he would text the chat and say, "Miss Des, are you there? Are you
Mm,
at the Salvation Army?" And I'd be like, "Yeah,
yeah,
I'm here." And he's like, "Can I just come hang out?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And he would just come over right after he got out of school.
wow,
That's where he
yeah,
wanted to be.
yeah,
He didn't care what he was doing. He had days where he just didn't have school. He went to
yeah,
Covington Latin. And so their school schedule was different. And rather than just sitting at home, he's like, "What can I do? Like, can
yeah,
I just come?"
neat,
And I'd meet him up at the Salvation Army and we'd organize something or we'd clean something. And he
yeah,
didn't care. He just wanted to be there.
yeah,
And so it was really cool, the relationship we were able to build and the growth I was able to see in him throughout
yeah,
my time there of his desire to just be there. He didn't care what was going on. He
right,
didn't care who else was there. He just
yeah,
wanted to be somewhere where he knew he was loved, where he knew he was taken care of.
that's so cool.
And so it was really cool.
That goes right back to, I guess, the title of this channel is, Grace, Grit, and Grounds,
Yeah.
and I already had an episode where I explained that, what it means to me, but, I love to begin conversations when I talk with people about Jesus with
Mhm.
grace,
Mhm.
because I know that I've experienced that myself, and I think grace is a bigger word than we often, so sometimes we use it in various formats, but it's just, I
Mhm.
think it encompasses more,
Yeah.
and it when you tell me the story of the young man who just wanted to come and hang out, just wanted to be with
Mhm.
you in the house of God, in a place of safety and comfort. I think that to me is the essence of grace, right?
Mhm.
Just being able to dwell in the center of that safe space with God. And I know
Yeah.
we use the word safe space, and that has a whole nother loaded connotation, but in Christian
Yeah.
worlds, our safe space, our area where we find comfort should be with Jesus. So I know we've talked a little bit about youth, but some of your other roles here at the church, you also work with our kids.
Mhm.
Tell us about that. What are your thoughts on? I know that was your original heart. Didn't you go to school and get like early childhood
I'm
education?
early childhood education. That's
What does
my
that mean? I
master's.
hear
My
that all the time,
master's.
right?
No, bachelorette. I don't know why.
Bachelor.
Bachelor. What is the word? So
Yeah,
my bachelor is in early childhood
yeah.
education. From that, I'm certified. I was certified preschool through third grade.
Okay.
I could have done a 4-5 endorsement, but I had no desire to go
Mm,
older, so I
yeah, yeah.
never did 4-5. I wanted preschool. Still, preschool is my favorite,
Uh-huh.
but I never once taught in preschool. I taught second grade all
Hmm.
3 years that I taught teaching,
Really?
and I loved second grade.
Oh, that's like one of my least favorite grades. I'll be
I
honest with
love
you.
second grade
So,
because first grade, they're learning school.
right.
They're figuring it out. There's a lot of like, we have to learn how to read. We need to learn our letters. Like, there's a lot of stuff packed in that they're learning. Second grade, they've learned their letters. They're learning a little bit harder things. Their
Yeah,
math is getting a little more intense over time, but they're just kind of existing in second
yeah.
grade. And then third grade, you have all the tests and
Hmm.
like the major tests that they have to take. And so I just
Right.
really love second.
I really
It's just a
feel
relaxing time.
when it comes to school, especially, there's a lot of debate about public, private, homeschooling, different options. And over the years, I've done all of those. Like with my kids,
Mhm.
I've had
I've
kids
been
in
in
private
most
school.
of them.
I did homeschool with each one of my kids for a period of time.
Mm.
They've all been to public school. In fact, all my kids graduated from public school. But that being said, I really feel like that the three most important years, which by the way are the 3 years I hate teaching, first, second, and third grade. I think that by third
Yeah.
grade, kids are really locked into a lot of their personality core. Everything
Mhm.
seems to sort of, I don't want to say hardwire, but it definitely solidifies. Is that your
Yeah.
experience, or is it just my
Yeah.
thoughts? Or
It starts to solidify around third grade. And so then for like the fourth and fifth grade,
yeah,
they're kind of like, okay, I like know who I am. And
right,
then
right,
preteens hit and it
yeah,
all goes out
yeah.
the window
Well,
and
when the
they don't know
hormones
who they
hit,
are
like it's
anymore.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't know. Then they're all confused
right,
again.
right,
But I like every year I go to church camp and the grade I'm with is the entering fourth, fifth, and
hmm,
sixth.
yeah,
So they're technically still third, fourth, and fifth
right,
graders.
right,
And it's like that. They're
yeah,
like, I know who I am. I'm
mm,
pretty sure of myself. I life is good right now.
yeah,
There's nothing like crazy. There's no crazy tests. There's no crazy like it's not middle school. Like you're in a elementary school.
yeah,
You've been there for a while. Like things just start to kind of feel
Mm.
normal.
Yeah.
And your world will shift once you start 6th grade and
Sure,
everything will
yeah,
go
yeah.
crazy again. But I agree that, like, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I would never teach that in a classroom
Mm.
because I don't wanna do that content.
Yeah.
But that to do ministry with that group is
Mm.
really
Yeah.
fun.
So what's been your experience? I mean, you've been part of Christ Baptist for a long time,
Mhm.
and you're just now taking on this role. So you've been a member here longer than I have, I think.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, because we became a
Oh,
member
that's right.
technically er
Actually, yeah. But
yeah.
you were attending before I got here,
We
right?
started January 1st of 2020
Okay, yeah.
was
So
our
you're a
first one here.
couple years before us.
Mhm.
So and so what is your experience now? And what was it like to transition from just being like a volunteer, occasional helper, you pray for
Mhm.
us and your distance. And then
Mhm.
you're also coming in like when you first were members, you and Joe were just recently married, right?
We had been married for a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then no kids. And
Mhm.
then when you started to go more into ministry, the
Mhm.
kids arrived.
Mhm.
And so, like, you've had kind of a journey in that arc. What was it like to
It's
make that
been
transition?
it's been crazy. It's been really crazy. I've taught Joe and I have been married for 7 years.
Okay.
I taught for 3 years, 3 and a half, I guess you could say. And then I subbed for a semester.
Yeah.
And then I taught in my own classroom for about 3.5 years. And then I got into ministry. And when I started here at Christ Baptist in 2020, I mean, the world went
Oh, yeah.
crazy in
Yeah.
March.
Yeah. Sounds
And
all that stuff.
my job at that time was working for a school. I was their receptionist in the
Hmm.
morning, like greeting kids. And then for the second half of the afternoon, I was an intervention teacher
Oh, okay.
for kindergarten through 3rd
Yeah.
grade. So
I've done that. And
I did reading
I've done that
intervention
for
and it
that
was fun.
age. And
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's a fun
So
age
it
to do
is.
it. So I just pulled kids in the afternoon and that was my job.
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, I was actually in the midst of trying to take over and, like, really help out with the kids ministry because we
Hmm.
didn't have a kids ministry at
Sure.
the
Yeah.
time. And so I was really trying, but then I got thrown into trying to teach online to the intervention kids.
Yes.
So it's not like teaching your average kids. Like, I'm trying to do
Yeah.
intervention with kindergartners
Yeah.
on Zoom call
Yeah.
and trying to do kids church in a church that I was very new with.
Mm.
So it was really interesting for that period, and so I stepped back, and I don't even think I think I maybe served in kids church a few
Yeah.
times because then I started teaching, like, full-time in a
That
classroom,
takes a lot out of you.
partially online, partially
Yeah.
in school.
Especially in that
It
time
was
frame. Yeah.
crazy, and so then my foot was out of ministry for a long time. I only taught in private schools,
Yeah.
I did public during college, but
Right.
actual teaching, I was only private. And so it was crazy. And so and then the past 2 years working with the Salvation Army, being there on Sundays, I was completely removed. And
Right.
so when I finally got hired here, it was a process of meeting with, like, Jamie and being like,
Yeah.
"I don't know who these kids are. I don't know who these parents are. I don't know who volunteers where."
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of like a learning of, like, who already does what,
Yeah.
and then kind of add to whatever's going on
Sure.
currently.
Sure.
So it's been interesting, but the kids are great. They're
Yeah.
awesome kids. They're
We
kids I've
have.
known for a long time.
We have some really, really incredibly,
Mhm.
diverse, personalities in our kids group from, like, the uber out there to the little more, like, I don't
Quiet and
I
reserved.
we have one kid, I won't name names, but we have one kid that I think I've said has said maybe 3 words to me in the last 5
I believe that, and I know
yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
He's a great
Yeah.
kid, but
Crazy thing is, like, I've known the Wilcox family
yeah.
for years.
Mm.
They're the ones that got us here.
Right.
Josh was supposed to officiate our wedding
Right. So Josh
until
Wilcox, for
yeah.
those, he's our worship pastor here. So yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to officiate our wedding, and we were supposed to get married in August of 2018.
Okay.
Because of my mom's health reasons, we had to move it up to April.
Mm.
The weekend we planned it
Yeah.
was the twins' birthday
Oh
party,
no.
and so he's like, "I can't."
Oh, no, you can't do that. And they would have
So,
been what, 1 or 2 years old, 3
it
years
was
old
their
then?
3rd
Yeah,
birthday.
that's what I thought,
It was their
so,
3rd birthday. So I've
yeah,
known them for a long
that's a long
time,
time, yeah.
but I've never really interacted with them.
Yeah,
And so, like, in the past few months, those are the kids I've been interacting with the
Right,
most, all 3
right,
of them,
because 'cause they're always here.
because 'cause they're
So,
always here.
that's the way that's how to be a ministry kid. So, like, your son, Xavier, which we call X,
Yes,
which is here's a funny
he's
thing.
famous.
So, we have people that watch our broadcast, our Sunday morning broadcasts
Mhm.
online all over. Because with
Yeah,
me, I mean, I've ministered all over the world,
yeah,
and so I have people that follow me, that only have been to my church
yeah,
online at this point, like,
that's funny.
I haven't spoken to them since they left Belgium when I was ministering over there in like 15 years,
Yeah.
but they watch us. And somebody sent me a message. One of the women we ministered before sent me a message. He says, "You keep talking about this baby X. Who is baby
My
X?"
famous child.
So I had to explain it was Xavier,
Yes.
and that's and we just call him baby X.
He's
But
been Baby X his whole life. He's
yeah,
gonna be Baby X when he graduates. At his wedding, one of our small group members is gonna give a
baby
speech about
X.
him being Baby X, like, it's who he
Yeah,
is
yeah.
forever.
I almost feel bad for him, but we'll cross that bridge when you get there.
I
So
don't feel
yeah.
bad for him.
So he's definitely extra.
He's
So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
love
all
interacting.
over the
We
place.
had we had an experience just recently. I mean, here is not only are you mom, but
Yeah.
you're also our family, minister. And on
Yeah.
Wednesday nights at our meals,
Yeah.
you're also you sort of head that age group,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we our fellowship hall is
Yeah.
under reservation, so we're eating our Wednesday night meals outside in the parking lot right now.
There's no fence.
There's no fence. And, and we all bowed our heads to pray for the meal, and the moment our eyes were closed, your
He took
kid
off
took
running.
off running, and we all lifted our head. He's already halfway down the parking lot.
I'm like, "Stop!" And, like, everyone's praying, and I'm
Like, oh my
so
goodness,
embarrassed.
yeah,
It was, of course, like, Joe didn't come, and so
yeah,
it was me fighting for my life.
yeah, yeah,
And he can escape out of like, if we put him
he
in the
is,
fenced-in playground, he knows how to open it because
yeah.
he's here all the time.
He's just too smart, and
He's
I
so
mean, you love
smart.
smart kids, but you also
Man,
it's a challenge.
he's so
So, I mean, obviously, it's just a free form conversation we're having. And we've talked a little bit about your kids, and we've talked a little bit about your background. Honestly, you've shared some of your history as becoming a teacher, becoming a,
Mhm.
a mom, and well, I think one of the questions that I've often had because obviously I'm not a mom, I'll never be a mom, but I do have 4 kids
Yeah.
and several grandkids now, and so I understand that side of it. But what was it like to become a mom, like, for like in the midst of all the other
Mhm.
things, especially with, coming out of the COVID era, going into this new phase that we've found
Yeah.
ourselves in church world, graduated now, working as a teacher, your husband's now moving up in his career.
Mhm.
Like, what was it like making that transition and actually being mom?
It was interesting. It was really interesting. A lot of my youth minister, actually, we went up and visited for my brother's daughter's birthday,
Okay.
and he pointed out how my brother and I parent very differently
Yeah.
and how very much, and I've had other people say this to me, that I am raising my son like he's a second born.
Okay.
I'm not raising him like he's a firstborn. I'm a second born. I'm the baby of 2. My
Yeah.
husband is the oldest of 2,
Right.
but I guess the way we're raising him is like he's the second. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's
Okay.
very strong-willed, very independent.
To me, that sounds like a
Our
firstborn, but go ahead.
we I don't know. That's what I've been told by people.
Yeah.
But he it was interesting. Like, Joe and I are the type of people that we're always doing something.
Yeah.
We're always out in the world. He spent his first baseball game, the Reds game, was 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
His first hockey game was October of that
Yeah.
year. I went away to church camp when he was not maybe a little over a month old.
Yeah.
I went away
Yeah.
for a week, and then Joe and I both went away for a week without
Right.
him.
Oh my goodness.
And so, like, it was interesting. It was a big change, I think, for both of us. Neither of us are baby people.
Mm.
And so we're really, really enjoying this, like, 2-year-old phase, 'cause it's not a baby anymore.
Yeah.
We're like, "This is fun." We're not baby people, but, it was interesting for sure. It was a lot of learning. I was very grateful to have a church family with a
Yeah.
lot of experienced
Yeah.
parents. That
And
was
we've got a
very
lot of
helpful.
in this church in particular,
Yes.
we've got a lot of grandmas and grandpas
Yes,
and people
and
that
they're
have yeah,
all
yeah,
grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle
yeah.
to Xavier, for sure. He's very, very loved and well taken care of in this church.
What do you think the biggest challenge you had as a new mom?
Not having my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can only imagine. I had my
yeah,
parents when we were birthing children, but, um,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
it's
interesting.
insane.
It was challenging. It was definitely the most challenging, but my brother was going through it at the exact same time,
Mm,
and so that was really nice. Not like, we've always been, like, each other's, like, number 1,
yeah,
and so to know that, like, he was like, "I have to become a dad without my dad, and I
yeah,
have to become a mom without my mom." We were able to
yeah,
kinda support each other,
yeah,
and so that was really helpful, and then
wow,
having our church family to be able to
yeah.
lift us up was really good and really encouraging.
You bring up a really good point, and, I mean, I don't ever want this channel to be pigeonholed into one area or the other,
Mhm.
but it's the last few episodes, we've had some heavier discussions about, trauma, grief, and we've asked questions like, "Where is God in the middle of my grief?" and things like that, and
Yeah.
I mean, one 30-minute podcast is never going to answer that completely,
Mhm.
but I think that it's something that we should talk about, right?
Yeah.
We both are part of that club now, right?
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, well, I've been there before you, so,
You were an orphan before me?
I was.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes,
that.
yes, so
That's fun.
yeah, because your father passed
20 right
away.
before the year Xavier was born, so
Yeah, right.
2023.
So my
My
father
mom was 29.
my father's passed away 7 years ago,
Okay.
so give or take, and, it's funny, we all grieve differently, and I
Mhm.
cannot tell you the day or the month my mother died. I knew it was spring, it was after Easter and before Mother's Day.
Mm,
My daughter has she's the keeper of the knowledge there, and
yeah,
she reminds me, but I don't want to know because I just it's too painful, and my mother was
yeah,
the first to go. My father died a year and a half or so later, and I knew he died before his birthday. His birthday's in September,
okay.
but my birthday's in September, my daughter's birthday's in September, and my father's birthday's in September, and it's one after the other, so me, my daughter, and my father,
Yeah,
and in the middle of all that, he
yeah,
died. I knew it was in September, but I don't know the day. I don't want
mhm.
to know the day. It's like my brain has purposefully blocked that out. That's part
Yeah,
of how I've grieved. I don't
interesting.
expect anyone else like that's just me,
Yeah,
right? But uh, it's hard being an orphan, right?
yeah, oh, yeah, it's hard. We make jokes of it because that's what my parents taught us to do.
Sometimes all you can do,
That's yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
growing up, like, my mom, when I was 8 years old, was sent to the Mayo's Clinic to die.
oh my goodness.
And she came back and laughed in their faces and survived until I was 21.
Yeah,
And so, like so, like, that whole time, death was something that was talked about, joked about. Like, she would have to go get blood transfusions, and she
right.
would text me and say, "I'm a vampire, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Mom, just, like, stop." And so, like, she would make
Yeah,
jokes about it, and she was humorous always.
yeah,
Um, but no, I mean, it's hard, obviously, to not have your parents, but joking about it, making jokes about it has been how
yeah.
we've handled it. My brother pointed out that our parents died within a week of each other,
Mm.
years apart.
Oh wow.
And so we are this is our most morbid joke, is the best time for someone to die is in, like, the January time,
Okay.
January, February, because
Yeah.
then you just grieve at the beginning of the year,
Right. Get it
and then
over
it's
with.
done.
Yeah.
You can
I don't know if it's
just
ever done, but so in that grieving process, who did you lean on?
my brother. My brother and my husband. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously my husband. Um, my dad told us when we were young that we're the only 2 each other will ever truly have
Yeah.
because we're siblings,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was only ever the 2 of us. We never had any other siblings, and, like, we'd get in, like, bickerments and fights about things and about friends or whatnot, and my dad
Yeah.
would be like, "When it comes down to it, it's you 2."
Right.
He's
Right.
like, "Friends are gonna come and go, but you're gonna
Yeah.
always have each other, and you're gonna have you 2."
Yeah.
And so we rely on each other so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and I've mentioned in other videos, and of course I've written about it a lot
Mhm.
that we were created for community,
Mhm.
and the best way to grieve, even though our culture doesn't grieve well, the best way to grieve is in community. It's
Mhm.
with friends, and I
Mhm.
found that it's even best if you can to grieve with family
Mhm.
that has a lot of shared memories. With my own family, my father and mother, they left the United States pretty much the month I graduated high
Mhm.
school, and so my brother is 6 years younger than me, my sister is 10 years younger than me, and so they left the country for 4 years and came back, and by in that 4-year time period, my life moved on. I'm an adult now, I'm trying to make my
Yeah.
life work, and we never were that close, and so we don't have a lot of shared memories. And then when my brother and sister both became adults and started entering that phase in their life, getting married, having kids, my family, we went overseas. So we were
Yeah.
missionaries in Belgium for 10 years. And so, like, I have very few shared memories of my parents
Mhm.
with my brother and sister, and that I think has made for me, it's made the grieving so much harder because I don't have
Mhm.
anybody to talk to other
Yeah.
than my wife or my kids, and even they don't have very strong memories of my parents because we were away
Yeah.
so, I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
do you find it sad that, that X won't know your mom and dad?
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah. I try not to think about that. Yeah.
I didn't mean to bring it up.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. It sucks. There's a lot of anger toward especially my dad between my brother and I about that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is what it is.
it is what it is. Yeah.
You can't change it.
And
Um,
honestly, he's gonna think he's got a whole building full of grandparents. So,
yeah. When we were overseas, we had a woman, she has recently passed away, she passed away this last year. Her name was Mary Gossett. She was a South African woman married to a Belgian who never had her own grandkids, she had 2 kids, and she came to the church I served in Belgium to
mhm.
be the paid daycare worker, whatever,
Yeah.
during Sunday morning service because we had a lot of kids and we
Yeah.
needed somebody that we could always count on being there,
Yeah.
and she came, she listened to 1 sermon before I ever came there, like, 2 pastors before me, and realized that she was lost. She accepted Christ her Savior, got baptized, and from that day till I met her,
Mhm.
she never once accepted a dime, but she was there every single Sunday. She became the, unofficial surrogate grandmother for every
Amazing.
military kid or displaced family that
Yeah.
was there. My kids looked at her. So, when my son Caleb, when we were there, he's our youngest, we got there, he was just turning 4. So she just fell in love with him,
Yeah.
and one day for his birthday, she came into church with a stuffed bear that I am not kidding you, was this tall,
That's
and
awesome.
gave it to him, right?
That's so
So
cool.
he brings it home, sits it in his bed, and now you have this giant mound of a stuffed animal on top of his mattress. He slept on top of that bear
That's
for like 3
awesome.
years.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing. There is a lot to be said for people like ourselves that are now raising kids and grandkids.
Mhm.
For me, without those kind of grandparents and other
Mhm.
extended family, that you have a church family you can
Mhm.
lean, because
Yeah.
especially in a church like ours where we have a lot of different generations from the
Yeah.
oldest to the youngest,
Yeah.
you can lean on that.
Mhm.
So it's kind of neat.
Yeah. And it's nice. I mean, we're with Joe's family, and they
Yeah, of
live
course.
nearby, and they see him all the time.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
neat. I know that you've got a lot of plans for the youth group. And when I say youth group, like we're trying to pigeonhole, I'm not pigeonholing you. Like if we
Yeah.
actually had the money, which we don't, but if we had the money and the wherewithal to hire a youth pastor, then that would be ideal. You could coordinate with them and we could we could go
Yeah.
forward in that. But in absence of that,
Mhm.
you're actually working with that whole age group
I
from
am.
basically 18, which we don't have any of those,
No.
all the way
Down.
down to 5.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge
It
gap.
is.
So what are your thoughts going forward? Like how do you want to do that? How do you divide your time up?
It's been a lot of strategically thinking about when to have different things and making sure that if I'm planning something for the youth, that I'm also making sure I put something for the kids on my book so that I
Right,
have
right.
everyone is getting taken care of and I have stuff separated so I'm not doing it all
Yeah,
on the same
yeah,
day because that would
yeah,
be terrible. And it's a matter of praying
yeah,
and doing the best with what who God sends us,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
His spins just started back up, so we're hoping to really pull into those guys and
Yeah.
That's gonna be a big draw for that older crowd, hopefully.
Right. For
And
those
so it's
people that
just a
don't
matter of
know,
seeing.
when she says his pins, and
It's
I get this a
archery.
lot, right? And so we do youth archery here at the
Yes.
church, and the organization that we partner with is called His Pins,
Mhm.
which is an interesting thing. Everybody asks me, "What does His Pins mean?"
I know.
You know, tell us what it
I
means.
do know.
Yeah.
So on like competitive bows, where you draw the sight, there's like a sight there and
There's a
it has
target, a sight.
a
Yes, a little
sight and
round
it's
thing.
got sideways pens and
Right.
there's a few of them
And
on
they all
there.
stick up. There's usually 3 or more, but
They're
3
sideways.
is oh, they are? Okay.
They're sideways.
Yeah.
And so the one on top is the
Long
furthest
range, right.
and the one on bottom is the closest.
Right.
And
And you line your target up with
you
those
line your
pins.
target up with those pins to help you aim.
Right.
And the his is God. And so
Right.
like setting up our aim and
Right.
the way we lead our lives with God setting our aim, not ourselves setting up
Right.
our aim.
Which is interesting
Yeah.
because it ties very well into the biblical theme,
Mhm.
which we know, for those of us that study scripture, we know sin, the word that
Yes.
we use in the New Testament, the Old Testament, literally means to, it's an archery term that means to miss the mark.
Yeah.
There's other theologians I've heard, they use the word aim, missing the aim. And if we set our aim, our sight on
Mhm.
something higher, then that's the goal, right? Is to be all
Mhm.
because we may fall short, but
Mhm.
we're going to be closer than if our aim wasn't set
Right.
on those higher goals,
Right.
that higher place that in Him.
I love his pens. I really do. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's a great ministry.
Yeah.
I've taught all my kids. I like to do classic education, so all my kids are sword fighters because I'm a competitive
Of
fencer, and
course.
so they
Of
were too.
course. Yeah.
And all my kids learned how to shoot a bow because they want to know that. The only thing I didn't teach them because we're living in Alaska at the time when they were old enough is how to ride a horse. So they have
Mm.
some classic education, but they're missing that
The
last thing to
horse.
be. Yeah, so they're
I've got the horse and the archery, but I
yeah.
don't have the sword
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah, so my kids are more pirates because
That's fine.
they are than they are like,
Yeah.
like adventurers
And
in
they
the
can
woods.
fish.
They can
So you're
fish, yeah.
good.
Definitely
They're pirates.
pirates, yeah,
You
definitely
just
pirates.
raised a bunch of pirates. It's fine.
I guess 2 questions. The first question is final thoughts on what you'd like to accomplish in the short term.
Mhm.
Obviously, we'd love to see your ministry explode and kids everywhere.
Yeah.
But the other part of the question is, you've been doing, this kind of ministry for several years
My
now.
whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what tips can you give me, like, 1 or 2 tips for somebody that may be thinking about going into student ministry?
Um, Tip number 1, don't be afraid to be silly.
Okay.
Kids, I from the youngest of young to the oldest of old, and the oldest of olds are gonna look at you
Yeah.
for a minute and be like, "What is wrong with you?" And then give them a minute, and they're gonna join in,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
gonna be silly, and they're gonna have fun. Youth often is taken so seriously because they're teenagers, so
Right,
things need to be
right.
serious. And I'm like, "No, they don't. They wanna play Simon Says."
They do.
Like, play Simon Says with your teenagers. It's
Yeah.
very fun.
I could tell you lots of games that we
Oh, I've
played.
got all the games.
Yes. My
Yeah.
favorite one was the mystery bag, relay. So we have 2 teams, divided up 2 teams. They would
Mhm.
run across the room, reach their hand to a large paper bag, and they have to eat whatever they pull out.
That's awesome.
It is, and you got everything in there from liverwurst to cucumbers and,
Oh,
whatever, just little bits, and, my son did that once, and he pulled out a half an onion, and for the rest of the summer camp, he was known as the onion boy.
yeah.
He ate it.
Yeah.
He ate it all.
I was growing up in youth, every Christmas party, we played a game where we had a tin of whipped cream and there was
Yeah,
a single, peppermint in the middle or
okay.
somewhere in there, and they
Yeah.
would cover it, and we had to, no hands, find the peppermint.
Oh, no.
Reigning champion I was for all of high school until my senior year
Yeah,
when one of the other kids beat me, and he only beat me because instead of using Ready Whip, they used
yeah.
Cool Whip,
Oh,
and Cool Whip is thick,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
hard,
yeah.
and, like, Ready Whip, it's kinda melty, and so it's pretty
Sure.
easy to,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
just, like, drink, but that Cool Whip was rough, and I
Mm.
hate Cool Whip,
Uh,
and so I got beat my senior year,
I'm
but
sorry to hear
I'll
that.
I'll let him have it, that's
Okay.
fine.
So,
But
good
yes,
tip, be silly.
be silly. Tip number 2 is, try things. Try
Yeah.
it. Just try it. It
Don't be afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could try something and no one shows up.
and
You
that's
could
okay.
try something and everyone shows up and they all hate it. and,
Yeah.
like, that's fine. Like, you just work with what you've been dealt,
Yeah.
and you move on and keep going.
Yeah.
Um, my last tip is a fairly recent one that I've started getting better at. It's something I've been aware of, but I've gotten a lot better at it with practice. I started reading a book called Show Them Jesus.
Oh,
It's an amazing book. It's written by a guy who is not a minister or a teacher. He volunteers in Sunday school.
okay.
And from his volunteering in Sunday school, he realized a very simple yet profound thing, which is to show kids Jesus
Mm.
in every story you teach. The the entire Bible, as we know, is the arc of the Jesus
Right,
story.
right.
And he's everywhere from the very beginning to the very
Genesis to
end.
Revelation, yeah.
And so whether you're telling a story about Samson being a dum dum in Judges, there's Jesus in there.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
there. Or if you're talking about the letters that Paul is writing, like Jesus is there in all of it. And
Right.
so it's taking time to help the kids realize that.
Yeah.
Because I think if as a kid, if I would have been shown Jesus more
Mm.
in depth throughout the Bible, it would have clicked a lot sooner
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
It's just changing the way I'm viewing the Bible, and it's
Mm.
really interesting, and it's
Yeah.
making me think about when I'm teaching lessons of, like, rather than just teaching them to be good, like, you just do the right thing and you be
Mm.
good,
Right.
but, like, that's not what it is. It's about following Jesus and loving him, and this past Sunday morning, it was really interesting. This is with the little kids,
Yeah.
like, they're kindergarten through 5th graders.
Yeah.
And we went into a whole conversation about why we follow God,
Mm.
and they were like, "Well, the Bible tells us to." "Well, we're
Yeah.
supposed to." "Well, it'll keep us out of hell. It'll make us go to heaven." They said that.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
won't go
And
to
make
hell. And I
okay.
was, like, caught off guard by, like, a 6-year-old saying
Yeah,
that to me.
you don't want a 6-year-old saying HE double hockey stick.
I was like, "Oh gosh." But we
Uh,
talked about how, like, it blew their minds of, like, Jesus doesn't need us to follow him. He
yeah.
wants us to follow
Right,
him. And we
right.
talked about how we follow him because we love him,
Yeah.
not because we get anything out of it.
Mm.
And they all were kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, so that was our Sunday morning. We were talking about Balaam and his talking donkey and
Right.
somehow got onto this.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I
It
think
was
in
great.
kids ministry, you gotta be flexible. You've gotta be
Yeah.
willing to let and sometimes them drive the conversation because, in so many other areas of life, they have all kinds of questions
Mhm.
that don't always get answered. And I wasn't always able to answer every question with my kids had, but I
Mhm.
tried. But I think that especially in light of this, they're away from mom and dad. They're in your room.
Mhm.
They're talking about things that they really want to know.
Yeah.
And these questions matter. And
Yeah.
they're going to, like,
Yeah.
I remember years ago, the Sunday school lessons that were taught. They weren't deep and profound, but I still remember the stories of Samson. I still remember
Yeah.
the stories of Balaam and the donkey, and I don't remember the teacher's name, but I remember her face,
Yeah.
and the passion that she shared with us. And
Mhm.
when I had a question, she would stop the class and she would answer it. My
Mhm.
parents didn't always do that. Short term, long term goals, whatever. What do you want to see happen in the next year with your ministry here? What would be the prime goal? And
Yeah.
let's just dispense with the idea. Yes, we would love to see hundreds of kids come into the church, but
Yeah.
that's not a goal,
No.
and I don't want that to be a goal. If that's your
No.
goal, that shouldn't be right.
No. I I want to see families that are invested in their kids' relationship with God, that are invested in building up the church from within
Yeah,
so that people from the out can come in.
right.
That's what I wanna see.
So, and we've defined church multiple times as
Yeah.
not the building,
No.
but the body, the
Right.
people. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And so that's really important to me. People from the outside aren't gonna come in unless they see the entire families are being taken care of,
I agree.
and that's where
Mm.
my role stems from, is
Yeah,
making sure that mom is set up to be a mom,
right,
that dad is
right.
set up to lead his family, that the kids are in a place where they feel safe and comfortable to
Yeah,
be vulnerable and to learn that God loves them no matter
yeah,
what. And so, like, that's what I want, is something that so that families know they're loved
yeah.
and that they're taken care of.
I like that. I hate to say it, but I think our conversation probably needs to come to a close. And here's the biggest reason why. My coffee is getting cold.
Yeah, I gotta go meet my husband for lunch, I'm late.
Yeah. Oh, you're late. And I'm so sorry. You should have said something. We could have
That's
paused it
okay.
and come back, but, all right, so I appreciate the conversation. Always remember to keep the coffee hot, keep the faith real,
My coffee.
yeah, and remember that, God is always with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.